Plan for the networking when you're organizing your event. Hi, my name is Thom Singer, and I am known as the Conference Catalyst. And I have spent the last 12 years speaking at association and corporate events about the power of human connection. So today I want to speak to meeting planners because you guys have one of the hardest jobs in existence. And if we didn't know this before, we certainly learned over the last couple of years that the best meeting planners know how to pivot and be creative and really work through some trying times. So as we're returning to face-to-face meetings, one of the things we have to remember is that people are coming for the networking opportunities. As long as I have been in the meetings business, it has been true that every survey just about ever done shows that people go to live in-person events for two reasons. They go for the learning, the content that's going to be delivered at your conference, and they go for the networking opportunities. But we learned over the last couple of years that those networking opportunities are harder to replicate in a virtual online setting. Now, we saw that you can deliver amazing content using online platforms. However, it wasn't the same getting people to really have those serendipitous hallway conversations that take place at an in-person meeting. So as you're planning your next event, long before people start to register, long before people arrive on site, and long before your opening kickoff, you need to think about how are we going to make this networking amazing? Because that's what the people want. So I have 4 tips for you in this video that hopefully will inspire you and help make your next event the best conference ever. The first thing you need to do is allow enough time in your agenda for people to have those serendipitous hallway conversations. So often we're trying to cram as much content into a 1, 2, or 3-day event that we end up with very short breaks and people have to run from one breakout session to another breakout session. Especially if you have a conference that's very well attended and certain people want to get to see certain speakers, they need to run to make sure they're going to be able to get a seat. However, if you allow longer breaks between sessions, then people can have conversations as they walk out of one session and head to the next one. They can talk with the people and they can say things like, so what did you think of that speaker? What did you learn? Where are you going next? And they can share ideas and best practices of what they're picking up throughout the course of the event. So make sure that you're not cramming in so much content that you're not giving people's brains a chance to digest what they're learning. And one of the best ways that people can digest content and make sure that they're going to retain it is they can talk to other people about what they just learned. So make sure that you're scheduling 30 minutes or 45-minute breaks between sessions and allowing people some common areas where they can congregate and talk and share, because it really is all about the people. Which leads me to the second tip, and that is you want to make sure that the whole event is an experience of human engagement. So in order to do this, you're going to have some fun things planned. You're going to have to make sure that the speakers that you're working with are very interactive and not just a sage on the stage who talks to the audience, but someone who gets people in the audience to talk to each other, that they're talking with the audience, not at the audience. And you're going to want to have fun, interactive times for your meals, your coffee breaks, your happy hours, and any social events that you plan after hours. The more that people can share an experience, the more chances they have to bond with each other. All of the relationships that we have in life are created through shared experiences. So make sure that your conference is full of opportunities for people to share in what they're doing together. The third thing is you want to make sure that in all of your correspondence before the conference and from the main stage, that you are reminding people that the real brilliance isn't the speakers that you've hired. The real brilliance is sitting next to them in those chairs in the ballroom. The real power of the event is the smart people who chose to come from your industry. So remind people that talking to other people is the best way that they're going to learn, because sometimes we get so focused on how smart the speakers are that we forget the people who are really in the trenches in our industry, the people who are out there really making things happen. It's the person sitting to your right and the person sitting to your left. So make sure that you're reminding people that the more people they encounter, the more questions they ask, the more in-depth conversations they have, the better experience they're going to have at the whole conference. And then the fourth tip is make sure that you hire speakers who are willing to participate in the networking with the participants at your conference. Because so often there are speakers out there who their greatest skill is getting to the airport 15 minutes after they say, "Thank you very much." Now, that's great. However, people like to have the chance to talk with the speakers. I'm a speaker and I have a lot of friends who are speakers, and I'm always amazed how many speakers try to get out as quick as they can from the ballroom, back to their hotel room and off to the airport without ever speaking to anybody. And so often when I stick around and stay for lunch, go to the happy hour that night, people in the audience come up and they want to talk about what was delivered that day. They want to talk with the speakers. So when you're negotiating with your speaker, make sure that they understand that you want them to participate in the networking functions that are going on either immediately after their event or for the whole day and the evening that's happening. You can negotiate for a speaker to stay through the dinner hour or through your party that night. All you have to do is ask. And let's face it, speakers, we get paid a lot of money. If you want a speaker to stay, tell them that you want them to stay. And if they're not willing to be your partner, if they're not willing to help grow that networking culture that's going on at your event, then hire somebody else. There are so many speakers out there who love to talk to the people in your audience and want to make those connections. Make sure that you have that conversation early in your negotiations. So I know that you as a planner are spending a lot of time trying to put together an agenda, making sure that everything is going to run smoothly, but don't leave the networking just up to chance. If you make the networking a second tier priority, you're going to have second tier results. But with just a little forethought, you're going to be able to orchestrate a great culture of connection at your conference.